we were sending information outside. Well, I can explain a lot of the international group, but basically we had people from many other countries that came here, started to work. And for example, some guy from New York came here, stayed here, then he stayed in Madrid, and in 1 month he sent back the Occupy Wall Street poster because they were preparing it. So it was quite a surprise. Now today they are celebrating the anniversary of Occupy Wall Street. It was September 20th last year. So well, the movement started, and it was a week with elections. So every day there was more people, and even more people in the square until the weekend when the elections were. After the elections, it was not so huge, but there was still a lot of people in the square, and it lasted like 2 months, with everyday people protesting here and making different actions and a lot of debates everywhere. Then I just went to Brussels and around Belgium and France to make connections with other people in the movement but in other countries. And I was not here, so I don't know exactly how it was, but the square was evicted 2 times. The first one, it was extremely violent, and you know, in 2 hours there was like 10,000 people in here supporting us, and the camp was reconstructed at the same afternoon. We rebuilt all the camp. And the second one, nobody came to help because many people in the assembly already said, okay, it's enough to stay in the square because we cannot maintain this forever, and we can still work from home, or we can still meet here, but sleeping here, it makes no point. Well, also there was this drug problems and, you know, robbery and...
Drug problems? What kind?
Yeah, there were drug problems. We even had a ketamine laboratory in 110 with the square. It was crazy. Yeah. There were these kind of problems that were giving arguments to the government to evict us. If we cannot solve it, where people just started to go away and work in different places. But well, there were many issues about this. Finally, we managed to go out the square, but continue working. Now we are divided in different work groups. There are the neighborhood assemblies, and also there are the commissions that started here in the square. And for example, on the International Commission, we started here, we had our tent over there, and now we are like just a group of people around the city, and we meet every week on Wednesday more or less. And there are other commissions like the communication one that is still working, and when there's a call or whatever, they can read it and they inform about the arrested people. They just have all the information. And well, many other projects like the Audit group, for example, or people collecting signatures for many projects. And there's also many anarchist groups that started some I don't know how to say it in English, autogestión, autogéré.
Self-organization.
Yeah, self-organized projects, and they are working quite well. So it's everything evolving every day, and we need to still coordinate all the activities. Well, after that, you just know the story. It started in New York on September 17th last year. Then we started to prepare the October 15th protest last year, when they started, for example, in Russia. And then we moved it to all the world, especially with the Spanish people protesting in the assemblies in different places. And then it became a local protest by the people in each country. And we have now the one of the biggest international network, I think, of activism, and it's just nice. This year we made our birthday on May 15th. We made a huge demonstration here in Spain. We tried to make it global again, but it didn't success a lot. Then Russians started again to struggle, and now it's starting again in Portugal and Greece. And now the people from Asia made a meeting 2 weeks ago, and they are starting to struggle too. They already sent a manifesto with solidarity with Occupy Wall Street and Spain, Greece. And now the Yo Soy 32 movement in Mexico is just on the same way like this. They read it like all of documentation, and they are doing the same. They're just working so great, and they are like controlling the Latin America network, and they are now in touch with many countries in Latin America. So that's how I only can talk about the international view I have because I'm the international commission, but there are many local things that are so important. For example, the evictions, we still are avoiding the evictions. When the people get evicted from the houses because they cannot pay, we try to stop the police, we block the entrance, and they can just still there. We are also promoting economical alternatives. There are a lot of exchange markets and handmade things. I don't know, there's a lot of this alternative stuff for that. But the problem is that the government is just ignoring us. Not really, they know what we are doing, we know what they are doing, but they didn't take any of our proposals like seriously. The government is just following what the Troika says. It's so funny because you can go to the webpage of the IMF and you can see all the plan for Spain over there, but it's like nobody knows, but they are doing the same words you can hear on the TV are the words written on the IMF webpage. It's so funny. And this is what they are doing, and people is just getting pissed off every day more and more. And it's getting harder because it already started the school this year, and there are a lot of strikes. Well, today there's a strike, public transport strike. You cannot take the metro normally, this kind of thing. And there's students strike, the universities are being paralyzed, the high schools are paralyzed, not only here, in Madrid already started. Also the healthcare is going down. People are starting already to die because they don't have cancer treatment. The people with, people die before they can get the surgery or whatever. People with problems with mobility, they don't have enough they don't get their money, for example, they cannot work and they cannot get any money. It's just everything falling apart, as you can imagine. So if you have more questions about it.
What do you want to, what do you want to do with this movement? What are your goals?
Well, right now there's a proposal for next week going to Madrid and surrounding the main parliament, but this is like visual action. It's not the final objective. Okay, they said we are going to surround the parliament until they go outside and they resign, and we can rebuild the system, but it's not going to happen like this, I think. And what we are doing is like we have no a real concrete objective, but we have a lot of people working in many things to change little by little the mentality and the ways of doing. So, for example, when you have a problem with your house, you are not going to see the housing ministry. You are going to see the movement, because they can solve your problem, not the ministry, for example.
Like the mafia.
Yeah, it's kind of a mafia, but with some ethics or whatever you can call it. And it doesn't use money. It's just for free. It's just volunteer work.
So, do you believe in change within the existing system, or would you need another system to have your...
Well, there are many views about this. Mine, personally, is that we need to create our own structures and our own ways to survive. And then just people will get outside the system because they will stay better with their rights guaranteed than staying over there, and if you don't have money you don't have rights. So
So you're proposing some sort of parallel system to the
Yeah, yeah.
established system.
Yeah, and I hope they can stay on the same way and just going to replace it little by little. And I hope it can be a pacifical, convivence in two systems.
So how does that system look, the one you're dreaming about?
Well, I'm not really dreaming about it.
Or the one you're proposing?
But it's just being constructed by itself. It's just following the common sense, It's just, what do you need? You need a house. We are going to find you a house. That's the point. It's not like, oh, you need to go to the bank and ask for a mortgage and then you can buy a house, but you need to stay paying, and if you don't have a work, you pack it up and you are going to the street, and your children will be starving on the street, and this kind of thing. So it's not so complicated. It's just the common sense. People need houses, just keep their houses. It's just like that.
How long time did you stay in this movement? For how long did you begin in this movement?
Yes, since the second day the camps started. First 2 days I was following it on the social network.
1 year ago?
Yeah, in May 17th last year, I was here already. But the movement started on May 15th. That's in fact the name, we call it 15M, so May 15th. And then Occupy is the international name, but many people don't know it's the same.
Is it hard for you to mobilize people now?
It's hard.
Yeah.
No, people is mobilizing every day. Today there's a strike. There are like 3 assemblies on the street. There are conferences. There are, for example, inviting people like you. We have activities every day. It's full of activities in the whole city. And mobilizing people is quite easy. But we try to prepare the big demonstrations as they can have a result, because some politicians say something in the TV, and the next day there's a reaction to this with a concentration and a demonstration or whatever, and they go to the parliament or whatever and they protest, but it has no effect. So it's better to plan a bit more the demonstration. But some politicians say something, and some people, they don't even think about calling the others or whatever. They just go there or come here to the square, and they know that there will be more people protesting for that thing.
So how do you feel when it doesn't have an effect on the decision?
Well, it's kind of frustrating. Yeah. But we still demonstrate and do this kind of things because in many issues it's the only thing we can do. And with other issues, it's just for making it visible. There's not only a demonstration, we have an info point, we gave flyers and web pages where people can participate and make more things. It's not only a demonstration, it's just saying, hey, here's our proposal of solution, you can just come here and collaborate. So this is why we still do demonstrations. And on the other side, we try to find solutions, and we found they are not going to help us, or they are not going to take in account what we are saying. So we need to find solutions by ourselves. We are alone in that. Just like this.
Sometimes these students make a difference. Sometimes they don't. They have this movement before in the past,
The students.
Students, young people trying to make change in the world. Sometimes happens, sometimes not. Do you have the feeling that this time is gonna happen something?
Well, we are really achieved many things. For example, we made conscience. At first, on May 14th last year, you cannot hear anyone talking about political or economy. They were all talking about football. They were all talking about nonsense things. And now everybody's talking about the crisis and, well, what are we going to do? How are you solving your problems? Did you saw what the government said? Everybody's talking about this in any bar here in the square. any place. So we made a conscience and a critical conscience, and people, you can ask anybody here in Spain, what is the government doing? They are not going to say that the government is doing well. Everybody knows what's happening, and this is a big achievement already. But we still need some more solutions, and we need more people to participate and bring ideas. But this is one big achievement. In many other countries, the people continue with the nonsense things to talk and nothing to solve. They don't have any problem. Also, we achieved.
So you mean that the things that you achieve is the conscience?
Yeah,
that
conscience.
People is more
Yeah.
conscious about.
Yeah, they know now how the world is working. Ask anybody, they will say the German government is ruling our government. Everybody knows that.
They will say what, sorry?
The German government is ruling the Spanish government. Everybody knows that.
Is that a problem?
Well, right now, yes. it's a problem because they are just taking like the money from here and taking over there. They're cutting our healthcare and education, and they can have more factories, or I don't know what they have, what they do with all this money exactly. That's the point. It's like a big robbery.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around, that they were giving you money.
Yeah, that's a good point. They are giving us money, but our money is not going to the people. The money is going directly to the banks, to the Spanish banks. All the Spanish banks are broken. They all fall down. Why are they not being closed? Why are these people not being arrested? Because they are giving more money, especially from the European Union, and they are taking the money, the public money, from all the European Union to give it to the private banks in Spain and Greece and Netherlands. Why? Because these banks need to return their debts to the German and French banks. And this is the point. The German and French banks, they need to recover the money, but there's not enough money in Spain for that. So they do this kind of things about the payloads. They take all the money from the European Union, put it on the Spanish banks, and then send it back to Germany. So it's just the German government is just utilizing the IMF and the European Union to get their money back.
Some people would argue that there was a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, really? Because everybody knows that already. Maybe not in other places, but it's just what is happening. You can even see it on the TV. It's not really a conspiracy. You can just see how it works on the Troika and the IMF. You can ask anyone from Greece what happened with their money. It's just like this. You can see this. This all started with Freddie May in the United States and Goldman Sachs. You know, or the guy that was running the technocracy in Greece, he was from Goldman Sachs. Or Minister of Economy is from Goldman Sachs. Minister of Economy in Germany is from Goldman Sachs. The technocrat in Italy is also from Goldman Sachs. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's just you can see it. It's so evident. Their names are well.
But I mean, the economy in Spain is bad. But sometimes the economy is bad because you spend too much money. So you don't think that could be a reason too?
They expect too much money.
That you spend too much money.
Yeah.
And you don't keep your books well.
Yeah. It's just like that. It's true. But it was not us. It was the politicians, for example, making the airports trains that nobody uses. And you know, you're a politician. You know this guy that makes trains, and you too want to make money. So you ask for money from the European Union. You take this money, you keep a part. Your friend keeps another part, and you make a train. That's everything. And then this money you're spending it on cheap, on expensive cars, on cocaine or whatever. You know, this is why we are spending a lot of money in nonsense things. And we still do that.
The work group of the debt audit is taking
Yeah.
a look into that.
Yeah,
huh?
we have the citizen debt audit group. They are working on check out where the money was spent, because if we can check that, will say, okay, you spend money on doing this that it was not even voted, nobody decided that, this is private wasting, and it makes no sense, so it's not legitimate. We don't need to pay this debt, you need to pay this debt, and you need to go to prison if you cannot pay this debt. That's the point. The politicians and the bankers and many people that is ruling the public services, they are just spending money in luxury and many other things, and they cannot pay back the debt. And it's the government that is dealing with this debt through the banks. And they are taking the public money to pay this debt. Didn't you hear about this phrase, privatize the waste and privatize the benefits and socialize the waste? Didn't you hear that?
No.
Yeah, you need to see maybe this catastrophic documentary about how they can, for example, build the water infrastructure with the public money, and then they sell all this infrastructure to a private company, and they get the benefit on the private company, but they didn't spend money on constructing that, they used the public money, for example. Well, you were asking.
It's a different subject, but the other day we saw the National Day was celebrated.
Yeah.
Did you take part as a movement in that, or how was your opinion?
We had no position because there's no real clear position in the movement, because many people is involved also in the independent groups, and many people is against, and many people just don't care about it. Well, I personally think I don't like borders, I don't like flags, I don't like this kind of thing, so I just don't mind about the independence. But it is true because of three main factors that people here is so mobilized by independence. First of all is the football thing, you know, Barcelona, Madrid. It's just they want to be separate because of the football. Second one is about the dictatorship. Sorry. The dictatorship was in Madrid. The resistance was here in Barcelona. So that's the point. It's like left wing against fascists. This is why they want to be separate, because they see the Spanish people as fascists, and here they see it as socialists or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of strange, and you know the independentist parties, they are communists too. So it's kind of strange, but finally there's the real factor, the historic factor, that this is different culture with different language and different everything, but they are part of the same. Well, it's okay for me if we are our friends, but many people say that Catalonia is better and we don't need to pay taxes to help the rest of the people in Spain, because here we pay more taxes because we are like richer in Spain, and the rest of the people in Spain is like wasting our taxes or whatever. There are these kind of arguments. I really don't mind about the independence, but
I have one question, maybe it's for you, Patricia, about you've been observing the movement, and I'm just curious to know what kind of people join in this movement, and where are they from, why did they join in? Do you have any remarks on that?
It's a very broad movement. For example, with the house evictions, it's a big issue, and they are blocking the access for the police and the bankers. And so I wanted to observe this action, and I expected the young anarchists being there. Well, actually it were the elderly, the seniors, who were blocking the access for the banks to help immigrants from Nigeria, so he could stay in his house. This was a surprise for me.
But there's one thing, because specific movements, the PAH, right? The Plataforma.
Yes.
Afectados por la hipoteca.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that directly connected to your movement, or is it?
Yeah.
They were very well organized together.
They were organized
Yes.
before, but they just started to, and they work on the same way, so it's just the
Within
same.
this movement there were already a lot of cooperations and other platforms who came together, and within the square during the first weeks here, they set up their own groups, but they have met each other and they joint work together. So in this way, it's a very broad movement. Of course, my own experience is you see more youngsters working on the students for sure, but it's not the only. They are more visible, but it's very broad.